obviously, last night, the Celtics lost. They blew another 20-point lead. John seems very upset. You do?
I am.
He was very upset when I first came in this morning.
Yeah, he loves the Celtics.
He raised his voice.
At you or
No, at the situation. If it were directed toward anyone, it would have been a family member of his. Actually, two family members of his.
You had family members rooting for the Knicks?
My father is a Knicks fan. My father, who I didn't speak to in a week, texted me immediately after game one. How about those Knicks? ? And then immediately after game two, his fingers can't move fast enough. He's texting me. And then the worst part about all of it is my father, who roots for a team that hasn't won a championship since 1973, texted me and said, the Celtics should be ashamed of themselves. He's taking pity on me as a Celtics fan, despite rooting for a team that hasn't won a championship in 50 years.
Yeah, and a team that blows it home.
Yeah, a team that blew back-to-back 20-point leads, and the most frustrating thing about it is, Fred, they're beating themselves. That's the worst part. The Celtics are so clearly better, top to bottom, than this team, and they can't get out of their own way. How many open threes did they miss last night? How many layups did Jason Tatum miss last night? How many timeouts did Joe Mazzulla not take last night, including having the ball with 12 seconds left and letting them go live ball situation? If you watch Jalen Brunson in a clutch situation, how many times do you see him lose the basketball or get his shot blocked? And then you watch Jason Tatum have both of those things happen. It was so frustrating to watch. Those open shots were there. They just missed all of them. If you were an alien that had been dropped out of the sky and had no knowledge of basketball, and someone sat next to you and said, one of these two teams is a defending NBA champion, which team would you have picked?
Well, it depends what quarter. First quarter, I would have said neither.
Depends what planet.
And then second and third, I would have said Celtics, and fourth, I would have said Knicks.
Yeah.
The first quarter was a bit of a mess.
The Knicks, the moment looks too big for them. At the moment, if you had
there's no doubt about that. They missed 13 shots in a row.
Yeah.
They allowed a 21-2 run. Yeah, they got tight. The moment looked too big for them. It did.
Considering this team won the NBA championship last year, that's stunning to say. And I don't know why Joe Mazzulla didn't take a timeout during that 21-2 run. I don't know why he didn't take a timeout to set something up at the end of the game. Did he really think that Jason Tatum was going to dribble through everybody and get it dunked that second time?
I have a question, and I haven't heard this, and it might be ludicrous, but do you think they let Tatum score? Because that would have made sense. Not the last possession, the second to last possession.
Yeah, I think there was an element of, once he got downhill and he was making toward the basket, sure, go ahead.
Yeah, because
once he got free.
I was watching it. Well, my son wasn't watching, but he was in the room, and I said, I wonder if you foul here, because there's 24.5 seconds left. I wonder if you foul. You're up one, you foul. Worst case scenario, you're down one with basically a full shot clock.
But you control the game with the chance to win.
But you control the game with the chance to win, which I would prefer instead of hoping for a stop.
It was not only that; it was the little things. Like, for instance,
hold on 1 second though. Just to that point, now whether this was spoken or whether it's just how they felt, with the exception of the last possession that the Celtics had, I wouldn't be surprised if the whole mentality of the Knicks were, let them do whatever they're going to try and do on offense, whether it's shoot a three or Tatum going coast to coast and getting a dunk. We will do what we do. Those guys are doing it to themselves on offense.
The execution.
So allowing Tatum to run the floor or even having the last shot, that's fine. Have you seen these guys haven't made a shot in 8.5 minutes?
We can leave them alone out there. They're gonna miss everything.
Doesn't matter.
It was even during the middle of the fourth quarter, Fred. Mitchell Robinson's out there. The Celtics have 2 team fouls, and this is with 6-7 minutes to go, and the Celtics immediately foul him twice, and then Thibodeau takes him out of the game because no problem. We're in the bonus now.
Yeah, Thibodeau was maneuvering a lot with, he putting Robinson in on defense and then taking Towns out and then the reverse. Yeah.
You would think the Celtics, top to bottom, had no experience in this type of situation watching them in the last 2 games.
Well, they got very tight. They've been very tight in the end of game situations especially last night. I mean, that's all you have to do is make a couple buckets.
Yeah.
All you have to do is score a couple points. Like it's literally a couple points. Like if you can, all right, so they go on a 6-0, 8-0 run. All right, well, get a couple buckets, even everything out, kill a little time. That's all you got to do. I mean, you just have to maintain.
You have Derek White and Al Horford standing alone out there with threes that they usually make, and they missed everything. How many? I mean, Tatum missed 3 or 4 that I can think of, layups off the top of my head. Jaylen Brown missed another one. But it doesn't matter if the threes are contested or not at this point. And they missed 30 more threes last night.
Well, Tatum had the yips last night. I mean, even in the beginning of the first quarter after the bad first half, he misses a layup first possession. I mean, that stuck with me. I usually don't remember things like that. But that was like, oh, whoa. All right. Well, something's going on with him mentally.
The execution when the game is on the line, the comparison between the two teams is shocking to me. That the Celtics would let it get to this. That this is happening to them. And Kristaps Porzingis is what? Half of himself? 60% of himself?
Well, we're at 60% water weight. And if he's got the Rhea, he didn't have to come off the bench. I mean, he didn't have to go into the back, though. He stayed on the bench.
He did. You're right. Didn't start the game.
No, but he didn't have to leave the court.
Well, maybe that's the reason they didn't start him, just in case he did have to go.
But splattered everywhere.
Yeah. 14 minutes last night for Porzingis.
No, Porzingis doesn't. Well, he made a 3.
He did.
You got to give him that.
He made 1 contested 3 at the end of the shot clock.
Yes.
And he also got a rebound right underneath the basket and kicked it out for a 3 because, I mean, when you're over 7 feet tall.
7'3", yes.
You're not guaranteed to be able to get a putback 2-pointer. You should kick that one out.
That unfortunately, and Hardy and I talked about this before the game. Hardy's right. I mean, it frustrates me too, but Max has been on this for 3 or 4 years. The Celtics do that routinely. It's not just Porzingis. They're trained to do that.
And what's funny is that in that situation, again, it sounds obvious, but I mean, you make a couple baskets, you're right. You're winning that game.
Winning both games.
Yeah, you're especially last night, because you were in a position where you just had to stem the tide. Not even, just stop a 21-2 run. I mean, all you got to do is just, all right, everyone slow down, make a layup.
Maybe call a timeout. Get everyone together.
Yeah, call a timeout, make a layup. Then
Guys,
you can let them
guys.
score, and then you come back, you make another layup, and then that's pretty much the game.
Give the Knicks credit. They just don't stop. They play the same way. They may be behind 20 points. They may be up 3, but they don't stop playing.
Well, maybe
they just keep making shots. How many big shots did Josh Hart hit when they were down 20? And then you have Mikal Bridges.
Yeah, who didn't do anything all game and then got
but
red
he
hot.
got hot when it mattered, and then
Right.
you have the game's best closer. So I mean, the Knicks never panic. They just keep playing. They play the same way all the way through, and the Celtics are all over the place.
And maybe it's time just for an overall philosophical change, whether it's, the stubbornness to not move away from what you're doing is one thing. But as distasteful as this might be to Joe Mazzulla and his, positive mental attitude, maybe in one of those huddles you got to say, okay, we're not going to do this again. Remember that awful thing that we did? Oh, I know. I tell you guys, short memory. Do you remember that awful thing that we did on Monday night when we blew the 20-point lead and lost the game? We're not going to do that again.
Almost
so
the identical score.
everybody, just listen to me. We're not doing that again. I want you to remember that negative thing right now and don't do that. Well, but try that because they did the exact same thing again. Went out there, missed tons of open shots, missing layups, and allowed the other team to just have their way with you when they had the ball.
Almost the same identical score, too. 75-55 in game one, 73-53 in game two. They blew both leads. This is a team that won over 60 games this season and is the defending NBA champion. They're playing a team that they did not lose to during the regular season, and they can't get out of their own way. And this is round two. This isn't even the Eastern Conference Finals or the NBA Finals. Now, they can still win this thing. They're a better road team this year than they were a home team.
And the Knicks are a better road team than they are a home team.
Yeah, I mean, they can still win 4 of the next 5 and reach the next round, but it is shocking to me that they are struggling like this.
Well, you know, you got
the way
Friday.
they're struggling.
Must win.
Saturday.
Must win.
Must win. Must win.
Must win.
You're in a must-win situation.
Yep.
MWS.
Gotta win that one.
Got to win game 3.
87% of teams who have gone down 2-0 in a best of 7.
And that doesn't even count because that counts the COVID year. So no, I'm serious because that counts the. Do you think the COVID year is a representative year for basketball?
No. I
No.
think it's a real NBA championship, but it's not a
I
representative
don't think
year
it's
for
a
basketball.
well. I mean, it counts as an NBA championship. but
Everybody had to play under the same rules, so.
yeah, but those aren't the regular rules.
No.
Let's go through some of the plays last night. Everyone keeps talking about the 20-point lead, 20-point lead. The last time the Celtics had a 20-point lead last night was at this moment.
Up by 17 now with 3:22 to go in the third quarter of game 2. Porzingis posting up. That's where the ball goes against Bridges. Porzingis draws the double team in the paint. Forced it out to Tatum. Up fakes the 3. Return to Porzingis. He'll try a 3 and knock it down. And the Garden erupts.
That was a tough shot, though. Off the wrong leg.
Okay, so that was in the third quarter. Once again, many parallels to game 1. However, at the start of the fourth, they were still up 12 points, 73-61 to begin the fourth quarter. Now, let's check in with Peyton Pritchard, who also was responsible for some offense last night and some made threes. There weren't a ton, but this one right here.
Tatum wants it because Anunoby's not on him. That's where the ball goes. Spins on McBride. Stumbles into Hart. Hart slaps the ball away. Tatum saves it, pushing it back to Pritchard for a straightaway 3.
Celtics again. These are some lucky bounces for the Celtics right now.
Okay, that is a notable field goal. John, do you know why?
Yeah, because it happened with 8:40 to go, and they didn't make a shot. They missed 13 straight shots after he made that one. 13 straight misses after that made shot with 8 minutes and 40 seconds left.
So again, at the 8:40 mark last night, Celtics up at 84-68. Not going to go through the whole play-by-play, but let's just say there's misses, there are turnovers, there are plenty of rebounds. Hell, Jason Tatum had a ton of rebounds last night, just no made field goals. Until we get toward the end of the game, and Jason Tatum goes coast to coast.
Tatum will trigger it from under his own basket. It's in the hands of Derek White. He returns to Tatum, and here we go. 20 seconds to go. Tatum dribbles past Robinson, flies in for a 2-hand slam. Nobody stopped the ball. And for 48 hours of everyone in Celtics Nation screaming to take it to the rim, Jason Tatum just did it coast to coast with as much authority as you can imagine.
Now, why did that happen, Fred?
I think they let him.
I kind of think they let him a little bit.
Once it was clear you weren't going to stop him, or best case scenario, you were going to foul him, you let him go.
Well, in real time, I thought they let him score, and then when they played the replay and Reggie Miller was saying, "Oh, look at that move," even on the replay, even though Reggie Miller was saying that, I was thinking that didn't look like they were really trying to get in his way. Like it didn't look like they were trying to foul. It didn't look. I mean, they could have. They could have clotheslined them. I mean, they could have done something. Clear path foul.
They wanted to go quick there. Once Tatum got downhill and was moving toward the basket, fine. But 24 seconds left in the game. Sure. Yeah. Well, you want to go quick?
Guarantees you a chance at a win, whereas before the Celtics could have held the ball for one shot.
Right. And it allows the Knicks to say, "Oh, okay, yeah, go ahead, go quick here, and we're going to get the ball, and we're going to have plenty of time. So that made it 90-89. Brunson gets fouled on the other end, makes both of his free throws. 91-90. Here we go. Final possession.
No timeout. Holiday's got it. 12 seconds to go. Back to Tatum.
Let's just stop. Let's just stop. Get the ball underneath the basket on the other end. They have a timeout left. Does Joe Mazzulla call a timeout?
No. No, he does not call a timeout. He has one, but
got a timeout.
Nope, not
No
calling
timeout.
it.
All right.
No timeout. Holiday's got it. 12 seconds to go. Back to Tatum. Cross half court. Tatum behind the Horford screen. Tatum, 5 seconds. Tatum at the free throw line. Tatum falling away in a baseline. His pass blocked by Bridges, and the Knicks have done it again. The Celtics do not get a shot away. And the New York Knicks, written off as a championship contender midway through this season, have just recorded 3 extraordinary victories on the road to put themselves up 2-0 in the Eastern Conference semifinals.
Tatum dribbled into basically a corner, wound up on the left baseline with 2 guys in his face. I'm not an expert at this, but it seems like you'd want a higher percentage shot at the end of the game.
Okay, let's start with not calling the timeout. How about you set up something on the other side of half court and you give yourself a chance to run a play as opposed to just letting your best player dribble the ball and move around and move into nothingness and then get the ball taken away. I mean, this happened at the end of regulation in game 1 where Tatum just stands there with the ball. I'm just going to take a shot. Don't you got no plays? Don't you got no plays you can run? You're down 1. You're down 1. You need a 2-point shot. That's all you need. You just need a field goal. Anything. No. We're going to let Tatum go out there and cook. Well, he wasn't cooking. He wasn't cooking in game 1. He's not cooking last night.
Missoula thought he had a good look at the basket, too. I don't know what he was looking at.
I'll go back to what I just said earlier. If Jalen Brunson is in that exact same situation, does he wind up on the baseline with 2 guys in his face?
No, he's a clutch player of the year, John. That's an unfair comparison. And Tatum's sneaky, not clutch.
If you want...
For years I've been saying it.
If you're Jason Tatum and you want to be recognized as one of the best players in the game, and he is recognized as either the third or fourth best player on the planet.
He is.
These last 2 games have not helped him. Last night certainly didn't help him.
Well, no, this is a horrible scenario for him because they're playing New York. And, no basketball gets attention like New York basketball. We've been over this a million times. Every national announcer, every national talking head is a Knicks fan, except for Bill Simmons. And the Celtics, you really want that? He's way over the top with this stuff. And so, they're all Knicks guys, so this is like the biggest stage. This in some ways is as big a stage as the finals, or even bigger than the finals last year. I mean, Saturday in the Garden, the Madison Square Garden, Saturday in Madison Square Garden in a must-win game for the Celtics. I mean, that's going to be, is it going to be annoying? That place is going to be the amount of jackassery and everything else that's going on there.
Everybody in the front row.
The big posing and the Spike Lee.
I wonder if Spike Lee will be there.
But Spike Lee wasn't there last night. I didn't see him.
I didn't see him. They didn't show him. Dana White was there. Saw him there last night.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, there was a slap fight after.
Hey, Coach, how about that no timeout?
Joe, what was the thought process with not calling timeout there with 12 seconds left?
Had one left, got a good look on the exact same play 20 seconds earlier, tried to execute the exact same thing. They did a better job of their lower pickup point, and we weren't able to get the advantage that we had on the last Tatum dunk. So good full court setting. They subbed out Towns, weren't able to sub out Brunson, had action there, and we just didn't execute.
Oh, I see. Because the last time you were in that situation, Tatum went coast to coast and dunked it, and you thought you would just do that again. You thought that maybe the Knicks wouldn't be ready for that this time. Oh, okay.
Well, that counters they let him score. Or maybe it confirms they let him score.
1,000 pardons. I didn't know you did have a play. The play was Tatum was just going to dribble all the way down the court and dunk it again. Oh. My apologies.
Well,
Coach.
there was a screen on that play. I mean, there was 2 players involved in that, but maybe this confirms that the Knicks let him score the first time because they certainly defended it differently this time.
That was your whole plan. Dunk it. Take the ball and dunk it.
Well, there was a screen again. There was a screen, and then he moved off that screen and was able to jam it.
The execution.
Razzle dazzle jammeroo.
Look, in slow motion, I agree with you. There was something to it, and it was a phenomenal coast to coast play, and he moved off the screen.
I think they let him score.
Maybe they did, maybe they didn't. But to think you would be able to do it a second time.
No, I know.
On consecutive plays is ridiculous.
I'm agreeing with you because that's my point. Is I think they let him score, so therefore you would not be able to do it on consecutive plays because they're playing defense the second time.
None of this should be happening to a team that won the NBA championship last season. None of it. None of these mistakes should be happening. None of these the mistakes the Celtics made last year are. You know what those mistakes are like? Those are the mistakes that Detroit made against the Knicks in the first round.
Yeah.
That's the kind of mistakes you're making. You're making the same mistakes as a young team that's never been there before.
Let's hear.
This shouldn't be happening to you.
All right, one more thing about the final quote-unquote play of the game.
How much is the time consideration a factor there with 12 seconds, giving yourself a couple cracks at it if you advance the ball there potentially?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. So you don't know that at the point of JT was driving left, thought he had a good look, saw it at an angle, didn't shoot it, and ran out of time.
That's what I'm saying is I think that he believes that Tatum had a shot there that he didn't take. I didn't see the shot, but what are you going to do?
If you like that clip, check out more videos from Toucher and Hardy here. For more Celtics analysis and opinion, hit this playlist. And for all the latest from the Sports Hub, download the app at 985thesportshub.com.